let's talk a little bit about some Frisco ISD football. I think it's easy to think, oh, Frisco, that's just the place with all the schools.
All the schools.
All the schools. It has been a breakout year for one school in Frisco. The newest school in Frisco. The Frisco Reedy Lions, Max, are 5-0.
That's right.
And hotter than a firecracker. And here to talk about those Lions is the head coach of Frisco Reedy. We are joined by Coach Chad Colt. Coach, how are you?
Doing wonderful. That sounds great. That was got me fired up.
Listen, you've done all the hard work. 5-0 to start the year as a new program. I want to ask you, did you think in the offseason that it could be something like this, or have you guys even exceeded your expectations?
You know, we felt great. We had all the key components. We had great kids. Were the question marks going to be exclamation points? Could we stay healthy? Could they grow? They worked really hard in the offseason as far as strength and speed. Could they function? Were their mental part of their game, was it going to be strong enough to last? And those are still questions because we got to make it week by week. But sure, we wanted it and dreamed about it, but to be here in reality is really cool.
You guys, the thing that's interesting about y'all is that this is your first senior class. This is the first time you guys have ever been able to suit up some seniors. There's a couple of them that have been very integral to your success. How important has it been to have those veteran guys, to have those leaders on your team?
Oh, it's crucial. When the way that we opened, those guys were sophomores, so they were the oldest group in our school for the last 3 years. So you go, that's kind of scary, because are they going to be mature, or are they going to hang on to immaturity because they haven't had the opportunity to watch a senior or watch a junior and grow from that standpoint? So they've had to be the leaders for the last 3 years. So we're very proud of what they're doing, and having a 17 and 18-year-old kid on your football team makes a huge difference. So, helped a lot.
You guys are coming off of a really impressive win over a high-powered Wakeland team. When you guys go in there, I want to ask you about your strategy of slowing down what had been a really impressive offense from Wakeland. You guys are able to get key stops and get your offense going as well. What was the game plan heading into that game against Wakeland?
Well, they've got some great players. Trey out wide, number 3, had been unstoppable, and we had a young corner in Keaton Dickey, number 28, and we just felt like if he had a good game, he was athletic enough to play with Trey, and our defense has been playing well. That's been our suit since we started, and Coach LeGrone, our defensive coordinator, just has those kids ready to play every week, and so we knew we had an opportunity to slow them down, just didn't know how much we could.
But the other part of it is that you were formerly on the staff at Wakeland, and
yes,
so did you feel at all bad about handing them a loss?
I don't know how you word that. I mean, those are some of my closest and most dear friends, and Coach Secord is my mentor, and I couldn't have been under better tutelage. I was there for 10 years. He taught me just everything, so was it sweet? Did it hurt? I mean, I had all of those emotions, but just winning that game and having 2 4-0 programs and us coming out on top, can't complain about that.
I'm just trying to get you in trouble, Coach. That's all.
Yeah,
I know. We're talking with Chad Cole, the head coach of the 5-0 Frisco Reedy Lions here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, one of the reasons you guys have been so good, we talk about seniors and how important they've been, but it's one of the guys that's been important has been a junior. This junior, Josh Foskey, your quarterback, has been outrageous. Really taking care of the football, 15 touchdowns against no interceptions and 151 pass attempts. As the guy who gets to see him every day in practice, what can you tell us about this young man?
Josh is just a student of the game. He takes his role very seriously. He knows that he's a manager. He's a coach on the field, and has really grown when it comes to recognizing what defenses are trying to do against him and keeping himself out of trouble. And like you said, not turning the ball over is our job offensively. So he's doing his job very, very well.
One guy who on the defensive side, on the other side, who is kind of a do-it-all for you is the sophomore Will Harbor, a guy who has been able to step in and a guy who 15 years old, and he's stepping in and having a key role in your on your squad. What does he bring to the table that makes your team so special right now?
Will brings just a level of confidence that, if a kid, and he didn't just start that role, he had that role last year as a true freshman. He was our PAT kicker for our first ever point scored for Reedy High School as a freshman. He punted, he played inside linebacker, played running back, and is doing the same roles this year. So just unshakable confidence, I think, is what I would say about Will, and he's just he's a playmaker. So we're very impressed with what he does on a daily basis.
He's your leading tackler on a defense that has really stepped up to the challenge against some really high-powered offenses so far. You guys are really, I feel like, as much as good as Josh Foskey has been, as great as your running back Justin Gibson has been. In a lot of respects, your defense has been leading the way. What's been the key defensively for you guys in your hot start?
Just those guys taking care of their assignments. We've got our free safety and Dominic McCory that had to be the leading tackler last year because of us just not able to hold up front and guys breaking free, and now that our front has grown up and our linebackers are playing excellent, he gets to be a pass cover guy. And so just having ran that gamut and having been run through and learned from their mistakes, it just I think that helps them grow in their confidence and how they can stop guys. And we've seen these guys for 2 years in a row now and didn't lose anybody, had successful game plans doing this, were unsuccessful doing that, put all those pieces together, and they just start playing a lot better.
You guys are in a unique situation there in Frisco ISD because there are so many schools up there, obviously, but you all know each other. You all have great scouting reports on one another. How is that a different situation than maybe other coaches around the state who maybe they're playing teams they only see once twice every
2.5
6
hours
years.
away.
Exactly right. How is that different from maybe other situations in the state?
Hey, it is. It's very unique because like anybody would say, but I feel like you've got to have a really great coaching night and playing night every week. The parity is so level across the board that just a few nuances are the difference in the game. One or two mistakes, a turnover here, a turnover there. You're right. Everybody knows your strengths and weaknesses. You have to go to work every week around here. I'll tell you that much. There's no give and W on any week.
Now, you guys are your. I want to go back in your history. I don't know if many people know this. You were a star quarterback at Pilot Point prior to the Bearcats. Yeah. Took them to 3 semifinal appearances as quarterback. And then you went on and you are the career passing leader at Tarleton State. So my question is, could you go out there right now and throw for like 300 yards still? Are you still in game shape?
No. I could throw about 5. We had a routes on air this morning, and I got 5 good throws in before I had to hang it up. So my reps are diminishing quite fast, no doubt about it.
Coach, it's hell to get old, I tell you. All right, and one more question, Coach. We're talking with Chad Cole, the head coach of the 5-0 Frisco Reedy Lions here on Texas Football Today. Give all the conversation #TF Today. You guys are halfway through the season at 5-0, a perfect mark so far. Next, this coming week, you're taking on Heritage at Frisco ISD Memorial Stadium. There at 7 o'clock on Friday. But I want to ask you about a game that's going to go on in November. I don't want to make you look too far ahead, but November 3rd, you guys take on Lone Star. And Lone Star, of course, they're the bell cow. They're the pride of Frisco ISD. That's a big game in and of itself. Perhaps most importantly, I believe your wife is a counselor at Lone Star. Is this correct?
Good research. You guys did good. Yeah.
Listen.
How about that?
You don't think this isn't some fly-by-night organization? We're doing our opposition research here, Coach. I want to ask you, your lovely wife Abby, who is she going to be rooting for on November 3rd?
Well, you might have to call her and ask her that. What T-shirts will my kids have on, right?
That's interesting.
I don't think we're going to allow the split shirt. I just don't. For that night, I don't think that's adequate.
Yeah, that's tough because listen, two sons, Carson and Cooper, they're gonna have to pick a side too. This is gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough week in the Cole household.
It will be. If they don't want to be locked out, they better know what color to put on. That.
Listen, Dad's in charge this week. He is Chad Cole. He's the head coach of the 5-0 Frisco Reedy Lions. Coach, appreciate your time. Congratulations on the win last week and your hot start, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you guys for thinking of us. Appreciate the call.
Absolutely. There he goes, Chad Cole, the head coach at Frisco Reedy.
That was fun.
Yeah, I did a little Oppo research. I had to figure this out. That's gonna be interesting. I don't know. We'll see. They are off to a great start, and we touched on Josh Foskey, their quarterback.
Yeah.
That is, for a junior to have these kind of numbers where he's completing 61% of his passes, 15 touchdowns, and no interceptions, to take care of the football in that, again, to go back to that everyone knows each other so well, and there's such a book on everyone in that district that to be able to put up those kind of numbers, and I know they're just, I think they've played 2-3 district games. They played Independence in the opener, and then they played Wakeland, so they played 2 district games. Yeah. To take care of the football to that degree is really impressive, and so Reedy off to a great start. Big game this week against Heritage, but we appreciate Coach Cole hopping on with us.